The story of the Conservative Party's destruction is not, as some would have it, a mystery. It's a tragedy, and a wholly explicable one. It began with Boris Johnson's opportunism, was further crippled by the ideological catastrophe that is Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng, and has now been delivered its final and fatal blow by Nigel Farage from Reform UK. The coup de grace, sharp and gleaming, has come not from a rival party but from within the soul of conservatism itself, a soul that was sold at a discount to Brexit. Brexit was Farage's baby. He cradled it on the airwaves of LBC and the floor of the European Parliament. He built it on an amalgam of sovereignty, suspicion and spectacle. It was not a policy, it was a performance. And the Conservative Party, once the steely instrument of cautious statecraft, chose to adopt this performance as its governing mission. This was not pragmatism, it was surrender. Farage didn't need to win seats, he merely needed to move the tectonic plates, and he did. The 2016 referendum, though won under a cross-party banner, was Farage's triumph. Take back control was his slogan before it was Johnson's. What followed was, bluntly, a failure. Not an abstract or theoretical failure, but a measurable economic, constitutional and cultural collapse. Trade has suffered, investment has dwindled, and Northern Ireland has become a constitutional limbo. The promises made, frictionless trade, sunlit uplands, a global Britain, have vanished like the morning mist. Instead, we have small boats, big bills, and a country in diplomatic retreat. Yet to acknowledge this is, in some quarters, treated as heresy. Remainers are Remoaners, accused of merely being wrong and of being unpatriotic. This is the McCarthyism of the mediocre. When reality fails to comply, shoot the messenger. In a study, the Shameful Conquest, the Paros Project identifies Brexit not just as an event, but as a revealer of fractures long buried. Britain's problem is not that Brexit created division, it is that Brexit exposed the division, the educated and the excluded, the city and the town, the graduate and the manual labour. Brexit divided not a people, but two nations cohabiting without consensus. What Farage understood and what Johnson borrowed was that anger could be weaponised more easily than policy could be delivered. And after Johnson, Farage then took on the mantle that Johnson had worn so effectively. Reform UK is not a party in the traditional sense. It's a movement with one mood: contempt. Just as Momentum was a movement rather than a party. It was inherited from the Johnsonian coalition of 2019, but what has particularly been inherited is the anger, not the optimism. Instead of get Brexit done, we have now got a kind of political nihilism dressed up as patriotism. And Farage's genius, and I think I dare to use that word, lies in his gift for articulating grievance. He offers no blueprint for the future. He simply torches the present and invites you to watch. And yet look at the numbers: 30 to 31% in recent polls, leading Labour, annihilating the Conservatives. The damage is not symbolic, it's electoral and it's existential. And it's eviscerating. The Conservative Party, once the most successful political party and the longest lasting in the Western world, now finds itself a hollowed out relic. Its social liberalism alienated its base. Its economic policies, particularly as structured by Liz Truss, alienated the working class it courted. It neither defended tradition nor embraced transformation. Meanwhile, Reform claimed the mantle of authenticity, no matter how shallow, and pulled the base away, partly using the obsession with authenticity which has been stirred by reality TV. This isn't just a political shift, it's an ideological extinction. Conservatism, understood as a belief in prudence, institutions and incremental change, has been devoured by a populism of instant gratification and slogans. For Labour, the Farage insurgency is both an opportunity and a curse. Yes, Reform splits the right-wing vote, but it also highlights Labour's indecision on Brexit, on immigration and on national identity. Labour's support among Leave voters is anemic. And unless Starmer provides more than technocratic competence, the very voters that Farage seduced from Johnson may stay with Reform. And Labour sits on top of a coalition that fractures at both ends, progressives to the Greens and Lib Dems, working class cultural conservatives to Farage. So here we are, the cultural effect of Farage. The Conservative Party is not dying, it's dead. And it's been killed partly by Farage and partly by Kemi Badenoch. There have been opportunities at revitalisation, at some sort of rescue effort. Kemi Badenoch's intransigent, her defiant clinging on to the little power that she got confirms the death of the Conservative Party. It wasn't inevitable. Farage was not absolutely certain of that assassination, but I think with the connivance of Jenrick and Badenoch, there will be no Conservative Party by the time of the next election. It died the moment it followed Farage into Brexit. It decomposed as it copied his tone, his targets, and eventually his audience, and that shouldn't be celebrated. It's the death of an institution that once stewarded the nation through empire, war, and peace, and that it should perish at the hands of a man with one idée fixe and no governing instinct. It's not merely a loss, it's a warning. And it's a warning, I think, that should be heeded by people on the left as well as the right, that this is what happens when ideology takes over as a form of madness, because populism may conquer, but it cannot govern. And the real tragedy is that in the middle of this rubble, no one has yet rebuilt the centre. And a government without an efficient opposition, as the Conservatives found when they were opposing Corbyn, is a government that flounders, is a government that makes bad mistakes. I think Corbyn, as much as Farage, is responsible for the destruction of the Conservative Party, and people on the left may cheer at that statement, of course. But this shouldn't be about party politics alone. This shouldn't be about some sort of football side supporting issue. This should be about the nature of our parliamentary setup. A government is more successful with a good opposition. And in the same way that I was championing or hoping for a better opposition from Corbyn and then from Starmer to hold the Conservative government to account, and that didn't really emerge, so too I'm hoping for a better opposition from the Conservatives to hold the present government to account, and that hasn't emerged either, because what we've got is an opposition too smug and self-satisfied, too self-important, too self-interested to actually do its job, led by a person who can't even follow a script. It's a shambles. Does this present Conservative Party deserve to fail? Absolutely. Does the Conservative Party as a concept deserve this kind of death rattle? Absolutely not. If there is any possibility of salvaging the Conservative Party, it should be salvaged. But to be united with Reform, that is not a future I would hope for it. I think there might be hope in the revival of the Lib Dems. And that, I think, is the most optimistic tone that I can take.